Hi, I'm Natalie Woods. Welcome to Insights for Onsites. Now, I've been in this industry with HotOnHomes, the television show marketing program, for, gosh, I guess 13 years. I know a lot of realtors, brokers, I know a lot of onsites, but I have never been a realtor, broker, and I've never been an onsite sales agent. That said, I do know that you guys work very closely with the onsites, and onsites always have questions for us to help them better themselves in their partnership with realtors. Realtors are vital to new home sales, and they know that. So this is just an opportunity for everybody to come together, for them to ask you questions. So anybody who's tuning in right now, you can actually ask us questions live right now. So send those questions in. Don't be silly. Don't send me silly stuff, or if you do, maybe I'll read it. I don't know. But you can ask them questions as well. But while you're thinking of those questions, I wanted to give you guys a chance to tell us a little bit about yourselves. As you can see, we have some of the top realtors, brokers, most well-known in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I want them to tell you a little bit, remind you a little bit about themselves. So Alice, I'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Alice Ma. I'm with Coldwell Residential Brokerage. I've been in the business for 12 years, and I do have broker license, and I'm one of the top agents in my office, also in the company.
Very good. Miss Alyssa?
Well, I'm Alyssa McKissick. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. My personal company, I'm a co-owner at MLux Properties, which is based out of the Keller Williams Dallas office, along with my sister, my husband, and our good friend Evan Stewart. And we focus majority on luxury and new construction, and helping those builders and clients advertise their product.
Very good. The Lone Ranger male on this panel today is brave. Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's Tony Nuncio, and I'm with Dallas City Center Realtors in the center of downtown Dallas, just north of Dallas, in the uptown area. My company name is Nuncio Realty Group, owned by myself, and also I couldn't do what I do without my assistant, Monica Bissell, full-time licensed assistant. And we are just pleased to be able to be on the panel today and represent and hopefully share some good insight. We are also proud to announce that we've been noted in Texas Monthly Magazine this month as a 5-star real estate agent, and I'll be featured in D Magazine next month as a top producer for the city as well. So very proud of it.
Yeah, featured in D Magazine, top producer. That's bragging rights for sure. Yes, ma'am. Lisa?
I am Lisa Golding with Keller Williams in Flower Mound. I am part of the TLC team. Our core philosophy is to build relationships, and we are looking to build relationships with builders. We have just written 5 contracts in the last 2 weeks, all with different builders in DFW. So we are really, really pushing it this year because we are low on inventory.
Amen. That's no secret. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rebecca Armstrong. I am with Trinity Real Estate Group. I'm an independent, so I am running around all of North Dallas by myself. I do have other realtors coming on because I have been so busy. I do actually have a brokerage open up in the Permian Basin as well, so I'm covering the North Dallas area and the Permian Basin, both very hot markets and, like Lisa said, very much in need of inventory for the new builds.
So as you can see, all these realtors have nothing going on. Nobody's busy here for sure. Selling 5 new homes in the last 2 weeks, that's impressive. I'd love to hear who some of those builders are as well. But this is a chance for you, for the onsites, to ask them questions. Whatever's on your mind, send it over. And I actually asked a couple of my favorite on-site sales agents. I was like, okay, just to get us started, will you give me a couple of questions that you want to ask? And I think 2 of these are great. So can I start with you guys? Are you ready? And we have a live studio audience, just so you know, if you hear a lot of laughing, that's not just taped. It's actually a live audience. So our first question for you guys is, what is the best way for an on-site sales agent to get their information about their new home community to you? Is it your boxes? Are you ever actually at your, Coldwell Banker offices, or where are you actually operating now? Anyone? Tony? Yeah.
I find myself in the field all the time. I try to make as many trainings at the office as possible, and the Monday morning meetings as well. But I'm in the field all the time. Literally, the best place to catch me is on social media, and I still have not seen a huge influx of the builders utilizing social media to contact agents and brokerage offices. Even if they can get into the brokerage office main site, then that gets fed out to all of the agents in the office. So to me, I think that there's a missing link there between the builders and communication as far as getting the word out about the communities. And I think also there is something to be said for some of that personal that personal meeting when you come to the office meetings and talk to the agents that are there, introduce the communities, make sure that everyone's aware of the price points, the product, you know, all the amenities of the properties, etc.
So make sure they are still visiting your offices. You guys will get that information.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Anybody
I don't
else?
think stuff in the mailbox helps anymore. Email for sure.
Okay.
And
So
tell them
do not
directly.
stuff the mailboxes anymore with the flyers.
I don't think so.
You just don't need them anymore.
No.
Not with technology today.
Right.
Okay.
And I have to add to that, as an independent, and there are many independents running around up here, we're not the big offices where you can just walk in. And because we're on the road all the time, social media is good, but emails are better. We also do the events. I go to every Hot On event that's in my area, my geographical area, and I pick up all the information there. And within a couple weeks, I'm selling houses there, no problem.
I did not tell her to plug Hot On, just so you know. But they do. These top realtors do a great job of actually making time to come to our event, even if you're there for 10 minutes. Alice, I know sometimes you're in and out, and really all you want is the information, and then you're gone, which is we really appreciate as well.
And
I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
Another thing I think is very important is to be able to have a very strong website. A lot of times we are looking for something, we just go to their website first to see if they have a house ready. Like last week, I have a customer, they need a house ready. So we just check the website first, then we visit, then we call them.
So make sure
Floor
that
plan.
the inventory that's on the ground is updated.
Yes.
In the builder's on
very
the
strong
builder's website.
with floor plan, all the description. That would be good.
I agree, and I think it's a combination of several things. I don't think you can do just one form because you have different age groups. You have realtors who have been in the business for 30 years and they love email and that's their only way, or they love face-to-face. But you have a lot of the younger agents that it's all social media. So you need to, in my opinion, what I've noticed is the builders are trying to have their sales reps do all of those things. They can't sell houses and do social media and make sure that everybody gets knowledge. So I think there should be a designated person for each area that is in charge of connecting with the realtors on Facebook and email and getting the flyers out or whatnot, because again, like Alice said, MLS isn't cutting it anymore and the renderings aren't doing anything for them. We need more real photos to sell the product and to get us interested.
And photos, time-sensitive photos.
Yeah.
You need it now in the progress.
Right,
So,
and when we're looking for properties, when we see a rendering, buyers aren't going to see a rendering and say, oh, I want to go see that house. We need good photos that really show off the product somehow, some way, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, you name it.
got it.
Email.
Okay, can I jump in and ask a hot question? Okay, good. All right, everybody get ready to tie your hair back. No, it's not that bad. Somebody wants to know, and this is something that we talk about at Hot On as well, but what is the #1 deal breaker for you when you're working with an on-site that might cost that on-site or builder the deal?
A bad attitude.
Bad attitude.
A bad attitude from the on-site.
And do you see that?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we do see that.
What, can you give me an example? I'm not someone. No. I just. No, I'll be safe now. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, give me an example of just what the normal frustrations that you see, because on-sites are busy now too, so I know they're frustrated. But give me an example of what's going on out there.
Well, there's a couple of attitude situations that I would talk about here, and one is when you come in as a realtor and you're with your client. A lot of times it's a turnoff to that on-site. Just being a realtor coming in with your client. They'd like to see the clients coming in without realtors quite often. And sometimes when you sent your clients ahead of time because they're going to be out and about a weekend that you're not available, and then you come back and you walk in the door, the on-site's like, well, you didn't have the realtor last week. It becomes a nasty little situation. And you can just literally see their faces drop in the attitude like, oh, now I'm going to have to deal with the realtor. Another situation is convenience. When are you coming in? A lot of times people are getting off work. We're coming in at late in the evening. And it's the end of the day. A lot of times they're ready to go home.
Right. Right. Anyone else?
Well, if they need to, when you walk in the door, I think every on-site salesperson would do so much better. You know, there's always going to be the stigma between realtors and on-sites. Realtors feel like, you know, they've had a bad experience or something's happened or they've heard an experience. And to be honest, most agents are not comfortable selling new construction. It's not our typical product to sell. So it's something unknown. So when they come in, if they would just be over the top, oh, I'm so glad you have a realtor, you know, one more person on deck to help out, be the bigger person to try and put that at rest or at ease with that realtor, and I guarantee you the rest of the process would be so much easier.
Okay.
My experience is a little bit different. I guess I sell mostly new home. Probably 75% my buyers are buying new.
Okay.
So most of the time the salesperson know me. So that's really good. And then a lot of times they will tell my buyer, oh, you're working with one of the best. So that's the positive side.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'll mirror some of that as well. I've had the experience where you walk in and you get that attitude up front from the representative that's sitting there in the model home. One of the other things that frustrates me a little bit is when the on-site is off on their day off or 2 days off and they've got someone sitting in, you really don't get a lot of information. You can't, because they don't know anything about the community usually. At least that's been my experience. But one of the things I do like to try to do is find out from my clients ahead of time if they think they're going to be interested in new construction. Then I like to get in touch with some of the communities ahead of time, say hello, find out what they're offering in the form of incentives, introduce myself, and also let them know that I have some clients that may be stopping by, or even going onto their website and pre-registering my clients, and that way there's no discussion or discrepancies when it comes to the discovery of a realtor being involved. I just find some of that pre-preparation is helpful, and I don't get to do it all the time, but if I can't get done ahead of time, I always make sure my clients know that when you walk in the door, make sure they know you've got a realtor right away.
And letting us register over the phone is huge.
Yeah.
Oh, that I was actually going to speak to that. When does it, because speaking on the on-sites, from the on-sites perspective of, we've met with this buyer 5 times and their realtor hasn't been in the door with them, and then all of a sudden they are in the door. When is it appropriate to make sure that you as a realtor has contacted that on-site sales agent to say, I'm not going to be there, but I'm representing them? Because I can understand if at the very end you're just there to sign the contract. It might be a little bit frustrating because they don't feel like you actually did the deal. But talk to me a little bit about that.
In that kind of situation, what I do is I usually actually preview the house first, preview the subdivision, talk to the salesperson first. I think that's the first step we should do. Introduce ourselves, tell them we have a buyer in this area, in this price range, so they already know.
Got it.
We went to a listing appointment last night, and they are interested in new construction. We left them with a stack of our cards. Said the first thing you do if you're going to go look is make sure they know that you're represented. And if there's something that you like, please let us know, and we will contact the sales rep as soon as once you've been out there and talked to somebody.
And that's a good point, because a lot of times they just forget. Yeah. Like for us at Hot On, how'd you hear about it? We were driving by. You saw Hot On. I know you did. But it is good just to remind them. Don't forget to mention that Tony am taking care of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good. Very good.
And I think the involvement is important right at the forefront, as close to when they first get the first time your clients see the property, as soon as you can get there. Even if, like, there have been times when my clients can't get there when I can get there. So my clients may have been there yesterday, and I'll drive to the community the next day and just introduce myself and explain, oh, you met John and Jane Smith last night, and this is what they're looking for, and I understand they came by and met you, and I really appreciate you taking care of them. And then I'm asking them more questions about, what are your buyer incentives, what kind of options are you offering, et cetera, et cetera. And that just helps to, I think, instill some trust with regard to the realtor and the builder's rep relationship. And I think it also shows that you are involved and you're actually there to help your clients, like you're contracted to do so in the rep agreement. Right. So I think it helps to make sure that rep knows who you are and that you're going to be there every step of the way.
Very good.
Yeah.
I just want to let y'all know I got a text message from one of our clients. He's the owner of M. Christopher. Rudy Rivas said it's a great show. So there you go. If you have any questions, Rudy, let us know, because we would love to. We'd love to hear from the executives, from the presidents, because I'm sure that the presidents, the owners, they have questions as well. So, yeah, okay, let's move on. So what marketing do you suggest that the on-site sales agents do for you? Let me ask you this. Let me go one step further. Do you appreciate an on-site that gives you their cell number so that you can just text?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I think that if the more you can build with the realtors that you love to work with, the easier this is going to be, because you might have a home that you can just text Alice real quick and say, hey, I know you sell 75% new, so there, I have this home, here's a picture of it, if you have anybody, let me know. And I think that's a two-way street as well, because then they can actually just text you and say, hey, I have a buyer that might be coming out. They may come before. So yes, to text messages, cell phones.
Right.
I tell you, Natalie, one of the worst things that I hate are the builders that have a 800 number that you call it a general number, and you cannot reach a location when you want a specific location.
Right.
You're sitting out in front of that location waiting for your clients to show up, and you cannot reach a salesperson.
You get an internet representative.
It's ridiculous.
So the online
That is the
concierge.
worst. Well, not necessarily, because there is like, say for example, D.R. Horton is one that has a very good concierge program, but not the national concierge programs. They don't work. The 800 number is where you get somebody in California answering the line. And I've had that happen, and I'm so frustrated that I cannot reach the sales office of the location I want.
Okay, so just make sure that somebody somewhere can have a direct line to get to that, even on the days off, that you guys are taking care of, because that buyer's hot, and let's face it, we're in a generation where you get what you want when you want it.
Right.
There is no waiting anymore.
Instant gratification.
And along with that, for realtors, now I think marketing to buyers is a completely different thing, but in terms of realtors finding your product, if it is not on MLS, that is such a pain for us, because then we have to go to New Home Source, search through the communities, try and find it, find the sales rep number. The homes need to be on MLS so that they show up, in our buyers' searches, regardless of whether it's a rendering or not. That's a whole other thing, but just so that they show up so that we see them. And let a realtor list your properties for you. We know how to list on MLS. We know how to market it. And then you have another person there that, should the sales rep not answer because they're busy, you have a realtor as a backup to help sell your product or help another agent get there.
Very good. Good. Anybody else? Can I ask one just for Hot On to make us stronger as well while the questions are coming in? What about the videos that Hot On is producing for, the Toll Brothers, the Shattuck, M. Christopher, D.R. Horton, Lennar, all of our builders that are out there? What do you guys actually utilize those videos for your clients? What sells? What is it about the video that they like? And is there something we could do better?
Well, you have to host the show.
I was going to say. It's all you.
I've used the HotOnHomes link, and just whenever there are properties that are in a community that I have clients that are interested in and they want to know more about the community, then the video is a great resource to provide that information, because you guys do a great job of talking about the amenities, the features, the surrounding areas, the schools, etc. And they can't get that all the time on some of the websites that are out there. I think somebody made a point earlier that the builder websites need to be beefed up, and they need to be updated regularly, because many of them are so out of date.
Right.
And so that's an area I think that, well, probably not only them, but all of us can probably improve.
Everything's changing so fast.
It is.
You can't keep up.
I know. It's good. I mean, it's good. We're not in 09 anymore. Very good.
They need to be able, the buyers of this generation, they want to see the product before they go out there. So the videos and showing the homes, showing just the land, everything about it is what is going to get them there. So Hot On's videos are very, very good for that.
What features are your buyers needing in their homes right now?
3-car garage, 2 bedrooms
Two
down.
bedrooms down.
Two bedrooms down, 3-car garage. 1-story, 2-story, or they don't care?
1.5 stories.
1.5 stories are working really well.
Mostly ranch with the upstairs.
I'm getting the same thing. 3-car garages are great. at least the master and another bedroom downstairs. I'm even getting requests for, kind of like a mother-in-law suite, because many people are now having multi-generations living in their home. So I'm seeing requests for a master down, as well as an entire other side of the house where there's another master, basically with a master type bathroom for the in-laws or for the mom and dad that are going to be moving in. And I'm seeing also, people want to see more, and from what I'm seeing, they want to see more wood and less carpet, and they want to see the tile as well in some areas, obviously. I think they're sick of going in and seeing the model that looks great, and then when they get to the house, it's plain Jane vanilla.
I'm glad. I want to stop you right there, because I'm glad you said that. Let's talk $150,000 home to $200,000 home. What needs to be in there for our builders partnered with us that are selling that home? What are the features that need to be in there? Is it the linoleum that looks like wood?
That works. I mean, that's in 150,000. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
It's much better than carpet and granite, regardless.
Everybody's
Granite's cheap.
I don't care if it's cheap granite or whatnot.
Okay, got it.
Tile.
Granite, tile,
Wood-like.
Carpet. Is carpet going away in the
Not so much in the bedrooms, but the living area should be
carpet.
Hardwood.
Hardwood floors.
I think also that most people, regardless of price point, they need storage space. They need the closet space. They need maybe a storage area that's off of the garage, even if it's just under a stairwell, if it's a 2-story house. Storage is important. Laundry rooms, I can't tell you how tired I am of going into laundry rooms, and you can barely turn around. They're usually coming off of the kitchen, going into the garage, and you walk 2 feet and you're into the garage. So just, I guess, a better thought process when it comes to the livability of a house and the functionality of it, and how the builders can appeal to the mass of the buyers that are out there.
Let's go to $300,000 to $500,000. Talk to me about what needs to be in that price point.
Hardwoods.
Definitely hardwoods. And 2 bedrooms down?
Two bedrooms and an office.
And an office.
Really is ideal. And can I just say that the cabinets, that is probably the hardest thing for me, is you hit 300,000 and you're still at standard cabinets. You have everything else, and it looks like apartment cabinet. I mean, upgrade the cabinets somehow, some way for that 300 and up price point.
Upgrade the cabinets.
I would say at the 250 and up price point.
Yeah,
really.
I mean,
and I agree with that. And I think also, fixtures. I mean, when I walk in and look at a $500,000 property, I don't want to see Home Depot oil rub bronze fixtures in the house. I think it warrants a higher end product. Even if it can be bought there, at least give us something that's got a little bit more flair, that's going to attract someone that's buying in that price point, including light fixtures. One
more, and then we're going to take some. I have some coming in. One more. We have homes. Many of our homes that are featured now are 700,000 plus. So what needs to go into that one? Thank you.
3-car garage.
Okay.
Very much so.
Hardwoods throughout,
nail down
into living room,
hardwoods.
hand scraped hardwoods.
Luxury master and bath and the ensuite there.
And I want to make a comment based on kind of geographical regions. Even within Dallas, there are different expectations of buyers of what a house how it should be finished out. There's a definite look in Collin County, Frisco home versus in town and East Dallas. And I don't think that you should automatically assume that what works in Collin County is going to work in East Dallas in the Lakewood area, for example. The finish outs have to mirror the community and the style that community is exuding, and I don't think that some builders quite get that.
Is oil rub bronze going out? And more
depending
of a
on the area.
I think depending on the area. I think it really does depend on the area.
Another thing's very important. Most of my clients over 500,000. They want a bigger yard, which is hard to find.
They want to own a little bigger piece of Dallas Fort Worth. Okay. I want to. Can I take a question, Laura?
I've got some questions coming in from an on-site in McKinney.
On-site in McKinney.
What are a few things that sales reps should do at the first meeting with a realtor and their client that have done consistently would drastically change their business?
I need a question in 5 words. Okay.
She'd also like to know, from a realtor's perspective, what can one bad experience cost a builder in the long run?
From a realtor's experience,
Okay.
what can one bad experience
I have one.
how can that cost a builder in the long run?
I have one. One of the builder on the multiple listing says 4%. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Says 4% commission, and when I bring the buyer there, we're under contract. The same day, they change to 3%. They don't keep their promise.
Okay.
That's a big problem. And the price range is like 600. So you don't do things like that.
So it feels like it was kind of a didn't follow through with what
No.
they said it was going to be.
No.
Do bonuses, commissions drive you to particular communities?
Not
Yeah.
particular.
Not us, but a realtor in general.
I would
Yeah.
think
The
so.
average realtor, it does.
It does.
I think that it's a nice to have for me. It's a bonus. Like if it happens to be a bonus, then great.
Thank you.
I'm going to go wherever the client needs to go. Whatever is
Exactly.
going to be the best route for them is where I focus on going. And I think that the bonuses are great if they're there and they're offered. The one thing I was going to mention with the bad experience question is that a bad experience with not only a builder but with anybody in general, with another agent for that matter, can be a trickle-down effect. In this world of social media,
Yeah, it's
in this
great.
world of connectivity and networking, as agents, we are constantly talking to people, whether it's in MLS meetings or whether it's in meetings through MetroTax or different organizations that we network with each other. I think it's important for builders to understand that, yeah, maybe it's just me, just little old Tony that they're messing around with, but our reach is vast, and it does extend, and then from there, it's kind of like that old commercial. Everybody in here is probably too young to remember it, but and so on, where the multiplication occurs,
Right.
and you tell one person, they tell 10 others, and pretty soon, 100,000 people are aware of what's going on, and it's a negative as opposed to a positive.
Right.
Very quick.
Yeah.
I mean, just in our office alone, we have 300 agents. We all are on Facebook. If they have a bad experience, and we don't complain that often, honestly, and every time somebody writes a bad post about something, it's like, this is not what I usually do, but it gets around just
Absolutely.
so quick. I mean,
And
it's out there.
It is. We had an experience actually with David Weekley, which I would like to brag on them about, where it was kind of one of those gray areas where they didn't necessarily have to give this agent the commission because they weren't there at the first meeting. However, they had been working with this client for a long time, and the client really just didn't understand how it worked. And from a corporate standpoint, they did not have to put this agent on the contract. But they looked at it more so from, I don't want to lose the reputation with this one realtor that could turn into 50, 100 deals down the road, or you never know. And so they, instead of looking at one commission check, they looked at the big picture, which was very impressive.
Let me ask you this: did that realtor sell another David Weekley home? Yet.
This realtor has sold several David Weekley homes, and will continue.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it was kind of, do you want to win the battle or the war?
Exactly.
And we're in it for the war.
Right.
Right.
You know
Got
what?
it.
I would just want to add something on that. As professionals, we will work around a bad on-site if we have to. We prefer not to, but we will absolutely do that. It's harder to work around a bad builder. The situation with changing a commission, that's a builder corporate situation, and that needs to be corrected, obviously. But dealing with on-sites, we know everybody's human, and we know some of them might have a bad day. And there are usually more than one office staff on site, and we can work around that. So I will just say that as professional realtors, we will work around bad on sites.
Okay.
I wanted to add one more thing if I
Yes.
could. I think I would like the builders and the representatives of the builders to understand that when we're working with them or with anyone, the total experience for our client, I know for me, is extremely important. That experience needs to be great. And regardless of whether it's something I do or somebody else does, if it ruins the experience, then it reflects on me anyway. And so I want cooperativeness from all parties involved in the transaction to ensure that the entire experience is great. And that way, when we get to the closing table and the builder's asking for all those 5s on their survey, then they can truly put down a 5 as opposed to just putting them down because that's what their builder representative told them to do, because otherwise they don't get their commission. Okay, so that I've heard that statement before. I just think that sure, earn the 5s and you'll get them, but don't feed the 5s all along through the process because you're not going to get your commission, quote unquote. So just a comment.
And last thing about the bonus, most of us who sell new construction, that isn't really a factor. We go because we're going to go for the sales rep that we like. Really, that's who we're going for, that we know it's going to be a good experience. That's more important to those of us who specialize in new construction. But for the average realtor, the commission or the bonus may be the one thing that pulls them over to going. And I can't tell you how frustrating it is when you're sitting there with an on-site sales rep, and they say, no, I can't, get the cost down to this. But if your realtor would like to give up their 1% bonus towards it, we could hit that number. Don't do that.
That's the worst.
That is the worst.
And has it happened to all of you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Many a times.
Okay. Very good. And I was going to say, I'd like to brag about a few of the on-sites that you guys have worked with that, the ones that you do go to. And encourage you guys. You guys have been around the block a few times. You sell new. You know who's running these companies.
Yes.
And I know that the presidents who we talk to almost daily at HotOn would love to hear that feedback. So if you want to email the Vice President Will Grimes at Lennar, Amy Klassen, or Derek Emmerman, or Rudy Rivas, Chris Hartley at Dunhill, any of those, I know that they would love to hear the ones that you love to work with. And I'm sure that helps the on-sites as well. It gives them a kudos. As well, so that's just a kind of something somebody told me. Don't be ashamed to brag on the ones that you love to work. Who do you love to work with as far as on-sites? Let's throw some names out there.
Okay, well, D.R. Horton is probably my favorite builder to work with. I have several. I mean, there's endless, but their sales reps are fantastic. Ashley, Katie, Luis Tapias is phenomenal. Lennar, Charlie, who is in Trophy Club, I can't tell you how awesome she is, and she is so realtor friendly. It's amazing. Kim Digman at Ashton Woods in Montesino, phenomenal. Those are just a few I can think off the top of my head. There's many.
Anybody else want to throw names out there?
I will say, again, D.R. Horton, Jennifer Green is really great at the Reserve. You have Tony at Ballard Point. He's really good. Megatel has a couple of good ones that I go to quite a bit that help me. Lori is how you pronounce her name at Megatel. So those are a few that I really like.
Good.
We're meeting with Nishat at Toll Brothers today out in Flower Mound. She's awesome. We do work very closely with Edna out at David Weekly. But D.R. Horton, they're just across the board. I mean, there's some great builders and great builder reps, but they can make or break it. They really can.
Todd Boydston at Toll Brothers.
I agree with
amazing.
Todd Boydston.
Todd Boydston is
we know Todd.
And Amy Edwards at Beezer. That's another one that is a favorite of ours.
Actually, Toll Brothers is one of our newest partners at HotOn this year, and I'm excited to actually be able to have their videos to send to you guys. Have y'all been to one of our events with them?
Toll Brothers is awesome.
Yeah.
I actually would say D.R. Horton also. I've worked a lot with D.R. Horton. Luis, a lot of the people that you've worked with, same here. I also have had a great experience with KHOV, Derek up in Little Elm, and In-Town Homes. I do new construction downtown, and In-Town Homes is building townhomes down at Farmers Market. They've done a phenomenal job of working with me as far as the transactions are concerned. So.
Let's talk about the ones you don't like. So let's name. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, now actually, I would say I do want to ask you, what's your number one struggle with selling new homes, from a builder perspective, not just the on-site. Let's go up. What is the one frustration?
Availability.
So inventory. Would you want more?
Yes.
We need more.
We need spec homes. Because especially when we're in this peak season, we get a buyer. They want to buy now. We come in, it's a 7-month build.
Yeah, they don't have any time to
and they're like, school's going to start. We're not going to do a mid-year move. We'll look somewhere else.
So inventory's
huge.
Right now, I think, I don't know, maybe just me, I feel like every 2 weeks they went up 5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Every 2 weeks they went up another 5,000.
And
So
lack of adapting to what a buyer needs. If a buyer needs a wall moved or one little thing and they cannot do it because it's not the standard floor plan, that is so frustrating. I know like Highland Homes is really great about that. Monica and Anna are, you know, they're always like, we're willing to figure it out. Well, we can switch this or tweak this. The builders that just won't do it, it's like you're going to lose
You will.
a lot of clients by not being flexible.
Anything about the contracts?
They need to explain the contract to the buyer, because we used to the track form, we understand everything, but builder's contract, everyone is different. So the reps should understand contract and able to explain that to their buyers, to our buyers.
In the appraisal forms that they're now making everyone sign, where if the property doesn't appraise, you're going to buy it anyways.
Right.
That doesn't fly with most buyers, especially when it's just you're just looking at the base product without adding much in, and they're asking you to sign something that says if it doesn't appraise, you will go forward. That is hard.
I've also heard some builders, this was a question yesterday at the event we were at, but a realtor asked the owner, are you accepting contingencies?
Right.
But I know that might be, a lot fewer are needing to accept contingencies, but is that still a necessity?
It is.
Yes, it is.
Very, very much.
It is a necessity. I think, and I hear more that we're not accepting contingencies than I hear, yes, we will do contingencies.
Okay.
Most of the builders that are doing contingencies that I've worked with in the last year are doing so up to the first 6 weeks of the construction process, maybe as late as sheetrock, and then there's got to be a decision made at that point. I'm also finding that a lot of the builders are now doing non-refundable deposits from day one. So that's also something that I think is being done as a result of the demand out there, because and I think in some cases it's just taking advantage of the market. You know, the sellers are doing the same thing with existing homes as well. You know, but it doesn't make it right.
Well, I think we're only allowed so many contingencies per neighborhood.
Okay.
That is what I've heard from most of the builders, from like David Weekley, Highland, D.R. Horton, that they can only do so many per section.
Okay.
So they have to base it on
And
what's there.
that's where your preferred realtors would come in, because if you don't want, obviously no one really wants contingencies, but if you have a preferred realtor that you work with and you trust, you can call that preferred realtor and say, hey, this is the property address. What do you think? Do you think this is going to sell? Would you be confident in me going forward and writing up an offer?
Yeah. Okay, question out of Wiley. What factors make this current market the ideal time to purchase new versus pre-owned? So what are some of the factors? And I know for you guys, a lot of realtors don't actually usually sell, or they're more likely to sell a pre-owned. Why is now the time to buy new?
Before school started.
Okay.
Before school started, so they still have time to get their kids to the school.
But I mean like new construction versus pre-owned.
I mean, I think right now availability has a lot to do with it. I think that the cost factor has a lot to do with it. If you're looking, there's a run-up on prices right now on existing construction, and if you can go into a community where there are homes that were built in 2010, 2011, and they're pricing them at the low end of what new construction is going to be a couple of miles away, then why not go for the new construction? You know, and so I think that the run-up in the market altogether is impacting some decisions there.
Okay.
And you know, from a product perspective, you get to take advantage of all of the most recent energy efficient products that are out there when you're dealing with new construction. I think that's a huge factor for a lot of buyers. You know, it's one thing to have a mortgage, but when you've got a $500 electric bill coming in because you don't have an efficient home, that's another matter. And the efficiency of the new homes, you can't beat it because it's the most current, up-to-date standards that are available in the industry.
Alice, you said something earlier that I can't get out of my head. You said you sell 75% new.
Yes.
Is that you driving your buyers to that?
I always show pre-owned, also new, but a lot of times, like he said, that I tell them, you rather spend $500 for utility, or you can buy a house that you will save $300. Then your mortgage, you pay for the mortgage for that amount. So your price actually $50,000 higher that you can buy, right?
Exactly.
So that's
kind of how they're choosing for themselves. You're just giving them an educated opportunity
Tell them
to make the decision on their own of efficiency,
the number makes
or
sense.
replacing an AC.
And the warranties that come along with it. You have most have 10-year structural warranty. several years on appliances, electrical, plumbing. The roof is brand new. So the major things that you would incur as maybe a first-time home buyer that would come up after closing, after you've already put down payment and closing costs, that's probably not going to happen to you with a new home.
No repairs,
Exactly.
right? No repairs.
Right. If you're going to spend $100 a square foot versus $105, it makes absolutely no sense not to go with $105 when you include, like Tony said, the energy efficiency and all the other things that go along with it.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me ask another one. Why are so many realtors hesitant toward taking their buyers to new construction? So this kind of flips it. What are your ideas on how builders can gauge and control their sales reps, what their sales reps or how they're doing in terms of portraying a realtor-friendly atmosphere?
I think that if every realtor that came in with a client, most of them register with their buyer. From a corporate standpoint, I would be calling every realtor that registered and asking them what their experience was with the sales rep when they first walked in the door, and just kind of see what that. But on the other hand, I have to give the sales reps a little bit of credit, because from a realtor standpoint, there's work to be had on our side too. There's a lot of realtors who just do not want to work with a sales rep, and they come in and they're the ones that blow the deal, because they're the ones behind the sales rep trying to point out everything that's wrong with the house, because they think that's how they're earning their commission, is by doing that, versus being on a team and both parties building each other up through the whole process. So that goes both ways.
That's really important. I mean, and I mentioned before, I like to try to meet with the sales rep, develop that relationship with them, so that the entire package is there. You know, we're in a good relationship. It's going to foster a good relationship all the way through the process, hopefully. So I think that being able to kind of mesh with whoever that sales rep is, you edifying them and them edifying you, is extremely important. And it also is very impressive for the buyer and for your client when they're there. You can't beat the praise from someone that is outside of your world.
Right.
And especially if you've got a client with you, it's very impressive to them to hear that you're praising them for their product and for their customer service, and they're praising you because they're saying, you know, you're a great agent, you've got the best, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Sure.
Natalie, I would add to this, the builder events that drag the realtors in and educate realtors, because not everybody is a new construction. I prefer new construction. It makes my life so much easier, because I don't have to worry about, oh, is it going to braze? Oh, what about the inspection? Can we repair addendums and all kinds of baloney that go along with that? So if they continue to educate and have these events where they bring the realtors in and really show them their product, spend some time explaining the builder process. I actually went to a couple of boot camps about 4 years ago. Those were fabulous. I believe it was Highland Homes that had those. Those were fantastic. And they walked us through from before the slab, you know, from pad preparation to the finish. That was superb, because I know their product's good. They've shown me everything. They've lifted their skirts totally. They've shown you everything. So you know that is a great product. You know, you're not going to look at it. I'm sorry.
I liked it myself. That's pretty good.
Actually, can I'm sorry. Good.
Real. All right. I want to continue on that line that you're talking, because the other thing that we've done in the past is focus groups, for realtor focus groups for communities like Castle Hills. Gian had us do a couple of focus groups for them. How do you think that is worth your time to go out before a community even really launches, to let them have your feedback and your input on what that community or what's going to happen, or if a community is just dying? I mean, I'm not saying that
great idea.
Every builder has amazing lot positions. I know that, but every once in a while, you know, you just know those acquisitions get you. Is it good to bring in, or how vital is it to bring in realtors like yourself?
I think it's very
to fix it?
I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
I mean, I think that as much preparation and cost and time that they invest in getting the right place, I think that it would be great if they could include the realtor community to some degree, so that they get the buyer's perception of you know, we know what the buyers are looking for. And I think we can relay that information to them, and that may or may not impact their decision-making process. However, at least it's some additional input that they can take and utilize if they need to or want to.
Yeah.
And if they brought realtors into their sales meetings and let a realtor in specific areas give a market update to those sales reps, that would be so helpful, because they have the stats and the access to MLS for those numbers that the sales reps may not have, and educate the sales reps on what the realtors are needing and what the market's doing, and arm them with scripts and things that they can use to help sell their product better.
Yep. We were just asked to be on the board for Canyon Falls, which is the new subdivision in Flower Mound, and one of the things they got to choose was whether it would be a Flower Mound address or an Argyle address, and asked all 10 of us realtors that were there, what would you do? And it was Flower Mound, because everybody does a Flower Mound search before they're going to do an Argyle search.
Got it.
Even though it's Argyle schools, it's still considered part of Flower Mound. So I mean, that was one of the things that we decided, but then, you know, asked us the same kind of questions that you did, like 3-car garage, do you want 2 bedrooms down? And then they asked us who we would want for reps out there. Which was nice. But
That's nice.
I did not reply. But
Okay, so here's another one. This is a good one. When, for all of you, you each have to answer. Each has to answer. When was the last new home you contracted on? Will you name 3 of the builders you have sold, like in the past 60 days? And hopefully they've all been positive.
Yes.
But tell me about the homes that you've sold recently.
K-Hop, Highland, and the new one. One in McDermott and Custer.
Dermot and Custer.
Normandy, I'm sorry.
Normandy. Oh,
Yes.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
History makers, right?
Yeah, with past 2
History
weeks.
makers tie-in. Yeah, Normandy. Okay, got it.
I had K-Hop just last week.
Okay.
Landon was last month. We did a closing there. And in townhomes, I've done 6 townhomes downtown with them. And D.R. Horton.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. Alyssa?
D.R. Horton, Argyle, the Meadows at Hickory Creek. We do a lot with Louise over there, Sundown Ranch. We have done Lantana with Ashton Woods and David Weekly in Harvest.
Okay.
Toll Brothers this afternoon, we're writing one up.
Yes.
Tell them Hot-On sent you.
I will do
Okay,
that.
good.
I will
That's
do
good.
that.
Very
Say
good.
just you. Yeah. Toll Brothers, K-Hop, who else have we got? D.R. Horton. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else is on the list. I should probably have wrote those down. Anyway, Standard Pacific, American Legend. Just recent.
Good. Yes.
Lennar. I was actually on site yesterday looking at the frame out.
Have you done any next gen with Lennar?
No.
Do you know which product
No,
I'm talking
I have
about?
not.
The
Next
extra,
gen,
the mother-in-law.
Yes. I have not seen it, but I have not done. I have not.
You gotta
sold
check
one
it
of
out. That's
I
pretty.
have actually
Club has
seen
one.
it, but I have not
To go look at.
sold one of those.
Okay, sorry, I was just asking
That's
about
okay,
that.
Lennar, KB, and that was down in Fort Worth, so I was actually kind of out of my normal area, but you kind of go wherever. And yeah, exactly. And then I've got one that I'm looking at. There's a new development I'm waiting on 121, and I believe that's Landon. We're waiting on that builder.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just like literally chomping on the bit for that one.
She's
Right.
waiting. Got it. Very good. Okay, how about this? What % of new homes are from relocation? I know there's a big reload coming that HotOn is honored to be involved with. That's coming this way. Leslie's been kind of helping with the Toyota relocation, but I know,
That's awesome.
I know. We've
Yeah,
already sent all our builder
that's our
information to
accounts.
them. But how much of your business is relocation right now?
I don't do a lot of reload right now.
Okay.
I used to do quite a bit. Maybe 30-40% are reload
Okay.
customer.
That's
But
still that's
now a little bit less.
got it. Okay. There's still a presence there. Alyssa? Oh yeah, sorry, Tony.
No.
We don't do a whole lot. Now, we are one of the registered agents for Brookfield, so we get a lot of Brookfield's reloads, but besides that, not a whole lot.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably kind of 2 different relocation. I mean, I get the reloads coming in that contact me directly and are working with me directly constantly, coming in from California, New York, different parts of the country, Florida. So that's probably about 15% of my business last year. As far as a true relocation, working with a relocation company, probably about anywhere from 3 to 5%. I just wrote a contract on a new construction 3 weeks ago, and it was for a relo for AT&T.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So,
I would say that we do more relo like one-on-one, that they are contacting us directly. We don't do a lot of relo in our business.
Okay.
Very little.
And I'm exactly the same way because I am a small independent. Rather than working with a big company, the real companies do not like to mess with us, actually. But I get a lot of calls from people relocating here. In fact, I'd probably say the majority of my business, probably 80%, are people coming into the area, just contacting through my website.
Okay, good. And give me an example of how a builder went above and beyond to win you and to continue earning your business.
Last week I sold one of the house. Actually, buyer is overseas, never seen the house, so the sales reps is really good. We work together, send them the pictures, colors, everything, and he bought it without even seeing the house.
Wow. Got it.
So it's very important.
Yes.
I think mine was at the closing, or just before the closing, when we had the walkthrough for the property with the client, and there was an item that was missed, and it was a big item that was missed. They actually promised to get it done by the next day, put it in writing, and they fulfilled their promise. And that was important to me because I've worked with so many where things get missed and then it's weeks before things get finished up because of them missing it. And then your client has to continually follow up with them, make time, take time off of work to meet them at the house, to let them in, etc. And it just can become a brutal after closing experience for the buyer.
The one you're talking about did get it.
Did get it done, and that was Landon.
Landon.
Yeah.
They took care of it.
Yes.
Right then and there.
They
That's
did get that
impressive.
done.
It's when you feel like they sell a lot of homes, but when you feel like yours is the only one, or the one that's most important, then they've done a great job in customer service. Very good.
Working very closely with David Weekly, had a client that's very high maintenance, and they were great. The sales rep that was with them originally and the person at the design center, well, before they closed on their house, they lost the sales rep, they lost the builder, and Edna, who is out at David Weekly in Flower Mound, literally stepped into the position, and I'm not kidding, she carried the ball. I mean, because they were very, very high maintenance. He does this Halloween thing every year where he decks out his garage. She was going to offer him the model home because their home was not going to be completed for him to do this Halloween open house in the home. I mean, like I said, she definitely stepped it up. But I mean, they lost so many people through the transaction that for her to carry it and to bring it to the end was awesome.
Yes. Good.
I would say John over at Lennar and Artesia really, really hit a home run with me on this last deal because my client, I actually sent her out to have a look at Lennar. I wasn't with her original visit because I was busy, but I said, go take a look, see if you like their product. She came back, oh, I don't like it at all. I said, well, let's go back out there. And we sat down with John. We went through the product in detail, and she just didn't like the modern look of the model home. And John really sat us down and said, you can do all this. And as soon as she got her eyes on that, that was the house for her. And we spent 2 hours with John.
Absolutely.
Time.
Yes, absolutely. And that was just our initial visit.
Absolutely. Okay, so sorry, one more?
I have to say one thing.
Yes.
Another Lennar story. Charlie at Lennar and Trophy Club, we had a buyer that we had worked with endlessly, was buying a 550 house or so, and the client came back after we had already been there, shown them tons of product, and sat down and said, I want to cut out our realtor and try and get a lower sales price. And she said, you need to leave because we don't do that here. And totally just backed us up, and they went forward and they bought it because there was nothing else and they wanted that house, but it meant so much that she really stuck her neck on the line to make sure that we were taken care of.
Yes,
So
that's great.
Absolutely.
I want to make one comment before we don't have time to do it.
I know we have 5 minutes left.
I want to make sure that the builders understand that just the sales rep themselves are not the only ones that can impact the situation negatively. When you get to that first walkthrough, the punch list, if you've got a builder that's not receptive to what your clients are pointing out, or if it is a builder who doesn't really like the real estate agent to be there with their client, to me that's a real bummer. You know, it just, why wouldn't their realtor be there? They're representing them, they're there to help them. They don't know what to look for in a new home construction walkthrough. You have the experience. To me, when they tell me the real estate agent shouldn't be there, they're trying to hide something. Exactly. That's my own personal opinion. And so I think that the builders need to understand it's not just the rep, it's everyone they come in contact with within that organization, from all the way from the beginning of writing the contract to when we close at their title company.
Right.
You know, so that's I think important to get the whole entire experience out there.
Okay. Tony, Natalie, I have to add to Tony's comment there. Those last minute scheduled inspections, walkthroughs, those are extremely frustrating, because if you're going to schedule it that morning and you've given us no warning, and as the realtors, 9 times out of 10, we're going to be busy doing something else. That again says, you don't want the realtor there, why don't you want the realtor there? And that happens a lot.
Yeah, there's a few that have such great builders. I know that there's a handful of them that I have no problem turning my clients over, because I know that they'll be taken care of. Billy Mayberry at D.R. Horton is one of those that I never have to worry if I'm there or not, because I know that he is taking care of them and listening to them and being patient. And so it's knowing that your builders are doing that is huge.
Good. Well, I'm excited to hear that you guys have such good experiences, and it's just the normal. I mean, like, you know, hearing about the last minute schedule, it might be because they're trying to honor a time to get it done so we can get a closing, and it's everybody's jumping through hoops to make it happen, and it's just all these normal communications. But I appreciate you guys giving the feedback to the on-sites. Maybe we could do like an on-site or insights from on-sites, and then we can make y'all watch. And then the on-sites will be like, we did that before! And maybe we'll do something. I mean, I'm serious. We can always have something like that. If any on-sites want to come sit in the hot seat and have some feedback, I think it would be fun. Put them in the cage, yeah. So do your buyers, one more question before we go, because we really do have 3 minutes. Do your buyers mention, I'm sorry, I have to ask this, do they mention Hot On? Are they, I know we have 8 million viewers that tune in. Yes. And sometimes when the buyer gets out there, it never gets relayed, you know, because they don't want the on-site to know that they've done more research about them than you know, they think they want to hold it close to their vest. So do your buyers mention Hot On? And please tell me about that last 2 minutes.
Not all of them do, but I mean, yeah, definitely. The Sunday mornings you get up, you're cooking breakfast and it's on TV. So I've had people comment, you know, they comment about the HotOnHomes. I've even had some of them tell me specifically, I saw this community on Hot On, you know, 2 weeks ago, and I really want to get out there. So I hear it. Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yes, I had a Facebook post the other day that they said, I saw you on the HotOnHomes Montesino edition, and it was so nice. And I had one from your wedding shower when we had a picture. Is that Natalie Witz from HotOnHomes? So there's more people. They don't say it that much, but people watch HotOnHomes.
It happened at my tailor 2 days ago. I picked up some clothes, and this gentleman was so nice. He's like, I watch you every day. We're looking for a home, and so I'm glad that it's working. I know we've all fought through some tough times in 09, 10. Now we're starting to soar, and I'm excited. Well, good. Well, we will come up with more topics. Are y'all going to let us put you back in the hot seat at any time?
Sure.
Because as I said, you guys are so well respected. I know that the on-sites have, you know, love working with you guys because you like selling new. We like you. So, and we will continue to do this. We'll, if you have any more questions, you can email me personally. It's nwoods@hotonhomes.com. Most of you probably have my cell phone numbers because I go into your meetings and give it to you. I'm not going to give it to you right now. But you can text me, ask us any questions, because we're an open book. And for all of the presidents that I spoke to today, the vice presidents that are watching, thank you, because we all know that you're busy and you took time to gain more information on how you can just sell more homes, because that's what our goal is, right?
Absolutely.
We'll do this next time. Thank you for tuning in to Insights for On-Sites, and we'll keep it going. Thank you, guys.
Perfect.
We love y'all.